Welcome the channel.
Know thyself. Socrates. The unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates. Happiness is the highest good. Aristotle. Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. John Lennon. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Socrates. The unexamined life is a life not worth living. Buddha. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. Buddha. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Confucius. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Walt Disney. Change your thoughts and you change your world. Norman Vincent Peale. The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. Ralph Waldo Emerson. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. Plato. The secret of happiness, you see, is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less. Socrates. The good life is one inspired by love and guided by knowledge. Bertrand Russell. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Steve Jobs. Know the rules well, so you can break them effectively. Dalai Lama. The purpose of our lives is to be happy. Dalai Lama. A life without cause is a life without effect. Paulo Coelho. Life isn't about finding yourself. It's about creating yourself. George Bernard Shaw. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. Marcus Aurelius. Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. Charles R. Swindoll. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Nelson Mandela. The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them, that only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. Lao Tzu. The greatest gift of life is friendship, and I have received it. Hubert H. Humphrey. The quality of a person's life is in direct proportion to their commitment to excellence, regardless of their chosen field of endeavor. Vince Lombardi. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. Helen Keller. Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. Buddha. The biggest adventure you can take is to live the life of your dreams. Oprah Winfrey. Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. Charles R. Swindoll. Life is too important to be taken seriously. Oscar Wilde. The greatest pleasure in life is doing what people say you cannot do. Walter Bagehot. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. Soren Kierkegaard. Life is a flower of which love is the honey. Victor Hugo. Life is short, and it's up to you to make it sweet. Sarah Louise Delaney. The purpose of our lives is to be happy. Dalai Lama. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. Helen Keller. Your time is limited, don't waste it living someone else's life. Steve Jobs. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. Pablo Picasso. In the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. Abraham Lincoln. Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. John Lennon. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. Alan Watts. Life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood. Helen Keller. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Confucius. Life is a journey that must be traveled no matter how bad the roads and accommodations. Oliver Goldsmith. Life is a balance of holding on and letting go. Rumi. The purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Don't count the days, make the days count. Muhammad Ali. Life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. Maya Angelou.